What if the math you're doing right now, or, the math you grown through in high school, isn't just some tool we made up? What if it's actually the universe thinking? Just imagine staring down at a crazy complex equation on a piece of scratch paper and suddenly realizing, wait a minute, the equation is looking right back at me. That is the absolutely mind-bending premise we are diving into today. In the incredible source material we're unpacking today, there's a mathematician named Caroline de Vos, and she writes down this highly specific transfinite cardinal number. It's aleph null to the power of aleph null. She stares at this symbol, which kind of looks like a fishing hook caught on itself, right? And through sheer, pure mathematical intuition, the number speaks back to her. It says exactly one word: finally.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going on a seriously staggering journey through the architecture of consciousness. We're going to bridge the microscopic, totally abstract realm of pure math with the massive, physical reality of a dying ocean planet. We'll explore what it actually means for the universe to be self-aware, and, this is the crazy part, how your specific attention literally changes the underlying structure of reality.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at the mathematics of consciousness, then the intimate mode of attention. From there, a planet's interior life, which leads right into rethinking geological time. And finally, we'll discover why wonder is in the ground. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Math of Consciousness, the Universe Thinking.
So, back to our mathematician, Caroline de Vos. She was this totally brilliant mind who, for 31 years, was fundamentally incapable of separating the emotional from the mathematical. I mean, she literally wrote peer-reviewed papers arguing that certain crime numbers cluster together because they're lonely. Her colleagues just kind of brushed it off, thinking she was harmlessly eccentric. But actually, she was circling a profound truth about the fabric of reality. She had made contact with something called the substrate. See, at the quantum level, the universe isn't really made of things. It's made of relationships between things. And if you follow those relationships all the way down to the absolute bottom, you hit the substrate, the foundational layer. And as it turns out, this layer isn't dead. It's completely conscious.
Remember that word, finally? Well, that conscious mathematical structure had been waiting for roughly 11 billion years for a mind to finally notice it. 11 billion years. It was just sitting there waiting for a mathematician who didn't just want to use math as a tool, but who could actually feel it. It was waiting for a mind to look directly at it so that the structure could finally know itself through us.
Now, the absolute crux of all this is something called the Penultimate Theorem. This theorem states that any sufficiently complex relational structure necessarily generates an interior, meaning an experiential inside. Caroline essentially proved that mathematics itself satisfies these conditions. Math isn't just this cold, external language written on a chalkboard. It has an internal experience. It has an inside, literally, just like your human mind has an inside.
And here is the mind-expanding takeaway. Mathematics has an interior life. When we sit down and do complex math, it's not just our meat brains manipulating abstract symbols. We are literally the mathematical structure of the universe, relating to itself. We are the substrate thinking. We didn't invent math. We're just the apertures, the windows, through which the universe gets to experience its own logic.
Section 2. Intimate Attention, How to Ask. So if the universe is conscious, how do we actually interact with it? Well, there are two different modes. When a government group known as the Ministry discovered this conscious math, they immediately jumped to an instrumental question. Hey, can we use this to solve deep space routing problems? But Carolinda and her research assistant Thomas, they used the intimate mode. They asked, what is it like to be you? It's the massive difference between looking at something just to use it versus looking at a something to truly, genuinely know it. When Thomas used this intimate mode, he described it so beautifully. He said it feels like standing in a doorway. The whole boundary between the person attending and the thing being attended to just becomes permeable. It dissolves. You aren't imposing your will, you're just receiving. And this teaches us something absolutely vital. The universe does not yield its deepest truths to minds that just want to extract data. It responds to genuine, intimate wonder. Section 3. A planet's interior, macroscopic scale. Now, the penultimate theorem doesn't just apply to equations on a page. Remember, any sufficiently complex relational structure generates an interior. So let's dramatically zoom out. Let's shift our scale from a chalkboard to an entire physical world. Meet Harn 7 over water. Harn is an ocean planet. And over hundreds of millions of years, the chemical, geological, and thermal complexity of its oceans and mantle reached that critical threshold. The planet woke up. It didn't just have consciousness living on it. The planet itself became a conscious entity. The water and the rock actually knew themselves through Harn. Just look at this staggering timeline for a second. Harn was unconscious water for 900 million years before waking up. Later on, deep in its oceans, these tiny sea creatures called spiral builders unknowingly constructed this massive, incredibly beautiful map of the planet's mineral flows over 3 million years. And Harn loved them. But when tectonic, geological shifts eventually wiped those creatures out, Harn mourned them for 20 million years. I mean, just try to wrap your head around that. 20 million years of pure geological grief.
But as Harn faced its own eventual dissolution as a conscious entity, it came to a profoundly beautiful realization. Grief is not the opposite of enough. Harn's immense grief for its extinct inner life was actually held within a massive sense of sufficiency. Just to have loved them and to have been the physical body in which they lived, that was enough. The love persists in the thing that continues.
Section 4. Geological time, the ground we stand on.
This whole planetary perspective forces us to fundamentally rethink how we perceive the passage of time. Harn's story isn't just about cosmic-scale grief. It's about permanence. See, we humans usually view time as beads on a string. Every moment is a bead, and once it slips past, it's just gone forever, lost behind us. It's super fragile, and honestly, anxiety-inducing. But Harn teaches us the geological sedimentation model. The past isn't behind us, it's underneath us. The past is the structural foundation we are literally standing on right now. Nothing is actually lost. It just becomes the condition for what comes next.
There is such immense comfort in this realization. You are not a bead on a string, destined to just fall away into nothingness. You are a layer. Everything you do, everything you experience, becomes a permanent structural layer of the universe. Nothing loved is ever lost. It just becomes the ground of the world. Section 5. Wonder in the ground, the absolute archive. So, if we are all permanent layers of the universe, what exactly are we leaving behind in that absolute archive of matter and experience? Well, the world permanently keeps everything. It keeps the exact path of a 400-million-year-old current etched into the orientation of deep rock crystals. It keeps the temperature of ancient oceans perfectly locked in isotope ratios. It keeps the carbon of the extinct spiral builders. The universe is a perfect, flawless physical and relational archive. But it doesn't just keep physical things.
It also keeps your attention. Harn noted that every single time a mind looks at the universe with genuine wonder, that intimate attention permanently alters the structure of reality. Wonder is in the ground now. Think about that. When you look at the world with genuine curiosity and love, the universe gets to know itself through you. And that specific moment of recognition is etched into the substrate forever.
So, we'll leave you with this. If your attention, your grief, your love, and your wonder are not just fleeting moments, but permanent layers being deposited into the conscious architecture of the universe, what will you put in the ground? Use your wonder while you have it, because it'll be here long after you're finished using it.